file can be misused, right? So what you need to do is you need to flush out the buffers, as well as you need to destroy that link. Destroying the link means if you are closing that particular file, that pointer will be that link will be broken between program and that particular file. So afterwards you cannot read or write the contents once you are closing that file with fclose, right? So it avoids accidental use of misuse of file. And suppose that there happens that you have opened an t.txt file with read mode, and so that you cannot write anything. But if you want to write, right, means you want a mode to be changed. So if you have done that mistake and you want to change your mode, then you need to close that file, and again you need to open that particular file. So if you want to change the mode of file means you have opened in a wrong mode and you want to swap to other mode, then what you need to do, you need to close that particular file, and once again you need to open that file. Okay, so there is an example. The syntax is fclose, and then you need to mention file pointer which you need to close, which file you need to close. That file's pointer you need to specify here. So there is an example. Suppose there are two pointers p1 and p2, by which we are using two files. That file is input.txt and the second file is output.txt. There are two files and the pointers of them are p1 and p2. So p1 is the fopener file, that is input.txt. We are opening that into read mode, and the second is p2 fopen output.txt, means the second file is opened in a write mode, and you are using p2 pointer for that. Suppose you have used that file here, in between you have used this file, and now you want to close that file. So what you will write? You will write fclose, and then file pointer, which file you need to close. Pointers can be reused after closing. This is the main important thing. If you have used this p1 pointer for input.txt, means p1 pointer is a link between your program and input.txt. Now you cannot use this p1 for other purpose, means you cannot point p1 is equal to fopen output.txt. What it will do? Because what happens in that case, p1 is already pointing to input.txt. Now you cannot write p1 is equal to fopen output.txt. Why? Because link has been already established. So once you need to close that file, after that link is broke, then only you can use p1 is equal to fopen output.txt, right? So same file pointer cannot point to two files. f1 can only point to input, then it cannot point to output file. Why? Because once a link is established, until you are breaking that link between that file and program, that pointer cannot be used again, right? So once you need to close that fclose p1, and then again you can use p1 is equal to fopen some other file in other mode, right? So pointer can be reused after closing. So once you have closed that file, that pointer, that link is broken, and then you can reuse that particular pointer for other uses. Now once you have opened and closed a file, you are knowing that how to open, how to close the file. Now suppose you want to manipulate data. Manipulating data is what? You need to get the contents out of file, or you need to place the contents into file, or you need to get the contents and you need to add those data or multiply those data, or whatever functions you want to do. You want to manipulate that data. For that you need input and output operations, means how to read the data, how to write the data. For that there are 6 functions, that is getC, putC, fprintf, fscanf, getW and putW. I have given the short introduction in the previous slides, so I am not going to that. Start with the getC. getC and putC are similar to getChar and putchar. The difference is getChar and putchar used for console. Console means your standard input outputs. Standard input output, you can consider standard input as keyboard and standard output as monitor screen. So here when you are writing putC CFP1, here what it happens, C, the first letter C, that describe that this is the variable whose value you want to place into the file. Which file? that is mentioned in the second argument, and that is fp1. Where fp1 is pointing, in that file you need to place this particular variable's data. Which variable's data? C variables, right? So C is a character variable and fp1 is a file pointer which is opened into the W mode. It is necessary that that file is opened in W mode. W mode is not there. If it is opened for read mode only, then you cannot write anything. So then you cannot use put C function. So it must be opened in a write mode, because you are writing something. You are giving something out of your program. So for your program, it's output, right? So your file must be opened in W mode. So you can use put C function to place some data into the file. But the restriction is you can only place one character at a time. If you want to place 5 characters, you need to write 5 put C statements. If you want to get some character out of your file, what you need to write? Get C. Then from which file you want data to be retrieved. So there you are writing file pointer to that particular file. Then this get C will return you one character that you need to catch. So I am using C for catching that variable. So I am using C. So whatever data I am reading, whatever character I am reading from this file pointer will be given to this particular C variable. So fp2 is a file opened with mode R. Right. So, and one more thing to remember is getC returns end of file marker. This you may not be knowing. If your file is there is one one symbol that is known as EOF. That EOF is described as a end of file character. So that is coming at the last. Whenever the all contents of file is finished, at the end there is a symbol that is EOF. So getC will return you EOF when you will be reaching at the end of the file. Let us see one example. I have one file that is pointing to, that is f1 is the file pointer which is pointing to input.txt. I haven't mentioned input के बाद में I haven't mentioned anything. So what it will do? It will create one file. If I have not that file already existing, it will create one file. And what would be the name of that file? That is input. I am opening that file into write mode. Why? Because I need to give some information to that file. So I am opening that file into write mode. While C is equals to get character not equal to end of file. Means what? Get character. Remember that get character is used for what? Getting the input from console, right? So you are using get character to get the content from keyboard. So you are getting the keyboards from you are getting the contents from keyboard, and that content is received into C. You are doing this process, you are placing this thing into while loop, means you are repeating until you don't reach to end of file. For a console, remember, for a console, end of file means what? Control Z. Whenever you are using Control Z, that means you are getting EOF onto console. For console, you don't have end of file because console is not treated as file. So for that you need to press externally Control plus Z. Then put C F1. So whatever character you are getting from console, you are placing that to F1 file, right? F1 file means your input file, and then you are closing that file. Why? Because you have done, you are placing all the values, and after that particular process is done, so you are closing that file. Now what you are doing? You are opening that file again into reading mode. So whatever data you have entered through keyboard, that data you want to display on your monitor. So what you will do? You are opening that file again into writing mode. As I said, you want to swap this mode. So what you will do? You will close that file once and then again you will open. So I am again opening that file with F1 pointer with the same name, and I am closing that file previously, and then I am opening that file. After opening, I will read till I am reaching end of file, and I am printing that one character by one character onto my console. For printing console, as we have previously used, we will use printf again. Once this use is done, I am closing my file. I have got this for you. What I am doing here is one file is there, which pointer one file pointer is there whose name is f1. One character is there which I am using. One character variable is there which I am using for communicating the characters from console to file and file to console. F1 F open input, then which mode I am using? That I am using W mode. W mode means I am writing something to that file. Again this all code I have explained previously, so I am putting that characters after giving all the values to file. I am closing my file. Again I am opening that into read mode and I am retrieving the contents. See the output. Suppose I am writing hello students, my name is Dhaval. After writing my whole thing, I need to give end. So what is the restriction I have put? I need to go till end of file. Now again, as you are using console, you cannot have end of file. So I am pressing Ctrl Z. So after pressing Ctrl Z, I need to press enter, and then there will be one file in your current directory where your program is running. In the same directory, you can have one input file. If you are opening that input file, you can have the same contents which you have printed here. So those contents will be done here in the notepad file. If you have given here some other name, suppose I have given here txt, so the output here, the file here will be named with txt. As I have given input name, here the name will be input. Again after this thing, I have also opened that file in read mode, and that content I am printing onto console. So again I will be having that data, reading the content from the same file and displaying output on the console. So this thing will be repeated on the console, and these two lines are coming from reading the content from that file. Two more functions are there, that is fscanf and fprintf. As I have already said, fscanf and fprintf are used for bulk data, means the data with mixed data types, right? See the example, fprintf, fscanf, fp, then you need to specify some control string. Control string means %d, %s, whatever, and then list of variables. It is similar to scanf and printf, just you need to specify the file pointer. With the use of fscanf and printf, you can also give outputs to console, right? Just you need to write here, if you are using fprintf, if you want to give the data to output screen, you need to write std out, means standard output, that is your monitor. Here you need to write stdin, that is standard input, then the data will be received from keyboard. Okay, and as the use of this fscanf and fprintf is, as I have said, get c, put c, get w, put w, they are the functions which can retrieve only one character or one integer at a time. Here you can have mixed data. Let us see one example, fprintf f1 %d %f, means with the same time you can have float as well as integer data. If I am placing standard out, then the data will be printed on the monitor screen. If I am giving f1, f2, then those particular files will be referred. Let us see one example. I am opening one file, that is integer data.txt. I am opening that file, as well as after opening that file I am using printf. Here I have forgotten, that should be fprintf. I am opening that file and I am giving the file pointer as f2, and I am printing %d I. I is what? My loop running from 11 to 14. So that data will be printed to that file, and I am retrieving that file into after completion of writing that file data into file, I am opening that file for reading. So I am closing that file once again, I am opening that file into read mode, and then I am using scanf function. Why scanf? Because now I want to read, so I will use scanf. Fscanf for file, right? So we are scanning something from file, so we are using fscanf. F2 %d %i, end of file. Up to end of file we are getting. I need to sum those data, so I am reading as well as I am summing those data. So at the end I will be having output 60, right? Two more functions, as I previously said, get w and put w. The syntaxes are different. Here you just need to write put w, the same as put c. You just need to write here an integer variable rather than character variable. They are the same, put c and get c. You just need to write w, and whatever data you want to give or take, that should be of size, that should be of type integer. What kind of errors that can occur when you are using IO? if you are trying to read beyond end of file. Once you are reaching end of file, after that there should not be any data. So if you are trying to read any data after that, there will be an error. If you are trying to use that file that has not been opened, if that file is not opened and you are trying to use, then again it's an error. If you want to perform any operation such as writing into file, but suppose that operation is not performed or not permitted in fopen. Suppose you have written fopen input into read mode and you are writing something to that file, it's an error. So performing an operation which is not allowed, which is not permitted by fopen, so that's an error. Again, the fourth error is open file with invalid file name. Suppose your OS is not allowing period in the name. Suppose I am writing input, so in and put, in between I am placing a period. That's an error, because a name should not be having period. That's a restriction from OS itself. So that is an invalid file name. So in that case, you are trying to opening that, then it's an error. And the last thing is writing to a write protected file. Suppose your file is in a read mode and you are trying to open that file and you are writing some content, it's an error. To get saved out of these all things, you are having FEOF. FEOF is a function which is retrieving, giving you 1 when you are reaching to the end of file, which is returning 0 when you have not reached to the end of file. Again, ferror is a function which returns any error if up to that particular point when you have reached and there is an error, it will return you non-zero item. If it is 0, that means that there is no error. If it is non-zero, then some error is there. Again, to save your content to be saved from null file pointer, you need to check after opening fp is equals to null. This is saving you from null pointer. Null pointer means you are pointing to some file which is not existing, so that should not be happen. So there is a condition, you can check fopen equals to null, that returns they are same when file cannot be opened. So you should not proceed, you should not go further, right? So check it before you leave, before you go further. Again, some random access function, as I previously said, fseek, that is used to search some pointer. So for that you need to specify which file you need to search on. Some offset means to which position you want to search, as well as starting position you need to give. If you want to search from beginning, you need to specify with 0. If you need to search some position, you need to seek some position from your current location, you need to specify 1 at the place of position. If you need to start something from end, you need to specify 2. There are some examples I have listed. ftel returns you the